I was pretty stuck.
Oh my God, we're gonna have a baby.
As Emily Cruz prepared to put her child up for adoption, 1,000 miles away in Vancouver, Marty and Joe completed their adoption paperwork with a letter to introduce themselves to prospective birth mothers.
What do you think of that?
That looks good.
Yeah?
Writing the Dear Birth Mother letter was really, really awkward because you know you're approaching a woman who's with child and who's trying to make the choice as to whether she wants to have that child adopted. And you're trying to say, not only am I available, but this is what I can offer.
They sent the letter to Heather in San Francisco, who distributed it to adoption agencies throughout California.
I got a telephone call from this woman up in Sacramento saying that she had a birth mother and she had presented Joe and Marty's letter and that she was very interested in meeting them.
From the minute I saw their picture and read their thing, and I mean, God, they were just so perfect. For me, the first time something had felt that right in a really long time, that I was doing something right in my life.
Emily was only a few weeks from reaching full term, but she wanted to meet Marty and Joe in person.
When we went down to meet her, the thoughts that were running through our minds was, oh, hi, how you doing? Want to give us your baby? You know, you know, what do you say?
Like, oh yeah, you look like you have good teeth. Yeah, we'll take your baby.
Let's take out your teeth, you know?
How do you say it?
But Joe and Marty never expected what Emily would say to them.
She just came right out and said, I've decided you guys are the ones who I want to have my baby.
I want my kid to be raised with an open mind. You know, I don't want prejudice or any of that to be involved. I thought that a gay couple would instill that.
We were in shock because suddenly we're like, wait, we haven't
slept on it yet.
We haven't slept on it yet.
But then she went one step further and said, and also you have to be in the delivery room when I give birth. And I have an OB appointment next week and I want you there. And we were just, oh. Then we got in the car and I remember saying, oh my God.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have a baby.
And she looks like us put together. I mean, she looks
like she could be our daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Back in Vancouver, Kathy Lobston had only a few days to sort through the legal issues involved with the adoption.
We made sure that they were going to have the necessary documents that they'd be able to bring this baby home.
In Sacramento, Marty and Joe accompanied Emily to her ultrasound appointment.
Her doctor looked at her ultrasound and put the Doppler on so we could hear the heartbeat. And that to me was, I don't know, I think I almost passed out because it was almost as if, oh my God, there really is, I mean, it was obvious that the baby was there because she was so big, but to hear its heartbeat was just, oh my God, it's real.
You know, I'm freaking out. She's gonna have to give birth or something's gonna happen.
He hadn't read the book.
I hadn't read the book. I was freaking out. I was
missed
starting
that
to
day
freak
at
out.
school. That the baby will get out of there.
How do you get that baby out?
So that was another conversation we had when we got back.
Where do babies come from?
Marty and Joe had one main concern. They knew Emily was on methadone to reduce the effects of withdrawal from drugs. But what they didn't know was how it could affect the baby.
The minute I heard that she was on methadone, I scoured the internet for everything I could find. One article would say there's no problem, and the other article would say there are going to be major problems. You need to worry a lot about it. Delayed learning, withdrawal, all kinds of things. I decided to just contact professionals directly. They were very happy to talk to me about it. And I think the most important thing to them was what is the dosage that she's on, and if she is on that, are you sure she's been clean with other drugs?
Tests confirmed that Emily was clean from other drugs, and doctors assured them that the risks to the baby from the methadone were minimal. Still, they would not be sure until the baby was born.
Oh yeah, blue.
With time running out, Marty and Joe took a few hours to stock up on newborn baby essentials.
That works. What are these? Oh, okay. I just felt that we needed more time to let things kind of soak in and prepare ourselves, get used to the idea of having a child around.
put on your head to keep it dry when he pees on you.
You know, if you're a straight couple or a heterosexual couple, you have 9 months to prepare. And the idea of 10 days was absurd. I couldn't even fathom that.
The pace of their lives was about to get even faster. Emily was scheduled for a cesarean section the next day.
The minute I held Devin, I just felt instantly connected to him.
Marty and Joe were in shock. It was less than 2 months after they first discussed the idea of adopting a baby, and now they were about to witness the birth of their child.
I was a nervous wreck.
I had the camera, and I guess the camera was sort of like a safety net for me because I kind of felt a bit removed from what was actually happening.
We were watching the whole procedure, and the surgeon said, well, if you want to get a shot of him being delivered, get it now because he's ready to come out. They wrapped him up and they said, Dad, do you want to hold your son? That was huge to me, huge. The minute I held Devin, I just felt instantly connected to him.
We stepped out of the delivery room and we both just started to bawl and cry. So
we had just tears everywhere. I mean, we were just like two sniveling idiots, just sitting there,
just bawling.
And the surgeon came out and was, is everything okay?
For Emily, the union between Marty and Joe and her baby was somehow just meant to be.
There's been only very few times in my life where I know something is totally right without a shadow of a doubt. You know, no questioning myself, no nothing. And that was one of them.
I was very glad of that decision. I was so glad that she came around to that. It was about the most mature decision I'd heard her make in a long time. She didn't see them as a gay couple. She saw them as two people who wanted a baby, who couldn't have one, and that they could give him a good life.
Devin John Ramirez Ling showed no ill effects from the methadone. A week later, the new family went home to Vancouver. For Marty and Joe, the initiation into parenthood was grueling. Devin suffered from colic, which made him cry almost non-stop.
We were very, very sleep deprived at times. I mean, I hadn't slept, more than 2-3 hours for every night for the past 2-3 weeks. You just kind of felt, what do we just do?
After 5 months, the colic finally subsided.
Hey, Devin, can you say Dada?
Emily had signed all the necessary adoption and custody papers before being discharged from the hospital in Sacramento. In the province of British Columbia, however, there is a 6-month waiting period before adoptions can be legally completed.
Don't take deep breaths. You're a stinky boy. You're a stinky boy.
For the couple, it was like waiting in limbo.
He thinks it's funny.
Then 7 months after they brought Devin home, the final adoption paperwork arrives.
I am pleased to advise that the adoption order was granted on May 2nd, 2003. Oh, gosh.
Fantastic.
Finally.
You know what that means?
Oh, my gosh.
After a whirlwind ride to paternity, Marty and Joe are officially Devin's dads.
Devin, look. It's your adoption papers. No, don't try to tear them up.
Like many adoptions today, Devin's is an open adoption.
You got some mail here.
This means that Devin will know who his mother is, and the families are free to contact each other.
Oh my gosh. Pictures.
Look, let me see.
The best way I can explain it is that it was almost like it was meant to be before it even happened, because it all came together so, perfectly.
Look at that one.
Hey, what's going on?
And they're so great with him, so I know that that's where he's supposed to be.
What's wrong?
I feel like I have definitely stepped up onto a whole different plateau. I have complete and utter respect of anyone who is a parent now. I feel like I have the world just in my arms.
I personally couldn't imagine doing what she did, but I'm very, very glad that she did do it. She felt that the best option was to give him to us. So I feel we have an obligation to her and to Devin. Nothing I could ever do or say that would thank her enough. I mean, she has changed our lives forever.
I hope that he can understand just that I loved him enough not to expose him to what I was going through at that time. I love him so much, and I'm really, really happy that he's here.
Shortly after the taping of this documentary, Emily's health deteriorated and she passed away in her sleep. Joe and Marty are committed to making sure Devin remembers Emily and the sacrifice that she made for him.